Welcome to video number 3. I have made it to a new location. I've left Pennsylvania, driven through Maryland, and guess where I am now? I'm in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to be here for a couple days before I head back to Indiana. I just wanted to visit the Museum of the Bible and some of the Smithsonian's that my family didn't get the chance to do when we were here 4 years ago. And right now I'm just walking around and came by the White House. There's a bunch of protests going on, or maybe it's a protest was happening that's kind of ending. Saw like lots of people leaving, but it's interesting times to be here. President Trump is not at the White House today, as far as I can tell, probably because it's Saturday and the Easter weekend. And yeah, lots of anti-Trump protests, mostly a lot of the signs regarding the El Salvadorian guy who got sent back to El Salvador, and the due process and stuff like that. But I'm excited to be here in our nation's capital and see things and experience things. A little better view of the White House. It's super pretty, and spring has been an awesome time to take this trip because stuff is blooming and trees are blooming and flowers. I'm crossing the Potomac on my longboard. See the Washington Monument back there? I don't think I've longboarded in a cooler place.
Martin Luther King Jr. They thought the dream was dead for 42 days. They pitched their tents right here on the National Mall. When Ralph Abernathy... I'm coming out, I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones.
About an Easter sunrise service at the Lincoln Memorial and decided to come, and I had no idea how big it would be. Thousands of people here to worship together on Easter sunrise at 6:30 in the morning. It was shocking. I was like, thought there'd be tons of parking, and there was not. I had to park so far away and I was late. But it was really cool to gather here with so many Christians and celebrate Easter, the resurrection, and he's risen. He's risen indeed. Hi, Abe. Washington. I'm at the World War II Memorial. 400,000 people, Americans, died in World War II. Wow. My next adventure is to go to the Museum of the Bible right behind me. We did not get to go here when we were here in DC 3 years ago, and I'm excited. They also have a new thing there, this mosaic from a first century church. I think it's actually here right now. It's one of the coolest discoveries, I say, since the Dead Sea Scrolls. In the mosaic tiles, it actually says either Jesus is Lord or Jesus is God. It affirms Jesus' deity. It's an archaeological discovery, first century, that affirms Jesus' deity, so that Christian believers in Jesus in the first century believed Jesus was God. That was not something that developed later. That wasn't some idea that came about centuries later. People who knew Jesus, were alive at the time of Jesus, believed Jesus was God, and they have archaeological evidence of that now, from extra biblical, not even just the Bible, right? So super cool. I'm excited. Here it is behind me. They actually brought it, excavated it from its site in Israel because it was found at the site of a prison, and they couldn't make a public viewing place there because it was on the prison property. And actually, prisoners found it as they were working to expand the prison. And actually, they date it at 230 AD, so I was mistaken, not first century, but very early and very significant because it's the first mention of Jesus' name in a public building. And while Christianity was illegal in this time, it would have been very dangerous to have a public place of worship that was like an official church. People that are mentioned: a Roman centurion who donated money, and 4 women who donated money to build this place, and then to the glory of the God Jesus Christ is written right behind me.
And I'm sure they intended to get back to it. And it's 1,800 years into the prison. That's sand. I know. So just truly, while there are extraordinary artifacts here, so even while you're on this floor, you want to see that we have the largest collection of Judaic stuff from the Holy Land. And the other places, except Israel. So Israel is the greatest collection. We have the second biggest collection right on this floor. There's also a beautiful artistic display of the descent of the cross, 21 different artists that portray Jesus' descent.
All right, sorry if I'm getting a few things wrong, but the 4 women mentioned here are likely martyrs because of how they are mentioned. And then the inscription at the other end is one woman who donated the table that was for communion table, and that's what includes God, Jesus Christ, is the inscription, remembering the woman who donated the table. But then probably the structure was donated by the Roman centurion. And I also got to hear this from the CEO of the Bible Museum I just met, so that was cool. This room is all about translation. And here we have languages that have portions of the Bible translated. Purple is all the languages in process. Bible translators are working on it. I have friends who are Bible translators. Some of them are restricted. They can't be listed because it's illegal to do so. I know some of them too. All these languages are in the process of being translated. And then all these languages, a book for every language, has not yet begun translation. There's still so much work to be done to have the Bible in every language. And over here is all the languages the Bible has been translated in fully. In yellow. There's vastly more. Probably the biggest section in here is actually in progress. And then orange here is languages that have the New Testament in their language. Lesson learned, the Air and Space Museum is the busiest one and the one you need to get tickets kind of advanced for. So I can't get in today. I tried. I should have tried earlier today. I probably could have got in even the day of, but I waited till after I did Museum of the Bible. And now I did get a ticket for the the Holocaust Museum. So that's where I'm gonna do next. I got a little hack for getting across town. I'm gonna show you. Is Capital Bikes. This one's terrible. It's grinding and doesn't shift gears well. But for $8, you can have unlimited bike rides all day. And there's little stops all over the place. Last time we were here, we tried to do scooters for the whole family, and it was a disaster. they were like all these dead zones and stuff. But so far, these bikes are working out pretty good for me. Holocaust Museum was powerful. I think the thing that struck me the most was the shoes. The piles of shoes. They give you a card at the beginning, and you kind of assigned a European Jewish person, and mine survived, but had to hide, like laying down in a cellar, and had to learn to walk again after having to hide in a horizontal position for years. 2/3 of the Jews in Europe were killed. I get to go to the Museum of American History. This is another one we didn't get to go to last time we were here. Whew, I've had a day. 6 a.m. start at the sunrise Easter service, then Museum of the Bible, then the Holocaust Museum, then Museum of Natural History. Now all the Smithsonians are closed, so I've done as much as I can. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go get a bike and ride to that behind me, and then go find some dinner, make some dinner. Well, thanks to Joel, I did not cook myself dinner. I went to this Old Ebbitt Grill, and it's right in the middle of DC, and it was really great. I am in West Virginia and Blue Ridge Mountains and Shenandoah River. I'd left DC. I thought I'd give it another run at some of the Smithsonian's, trying to get in the Air and Space Museum with some last minute tickets, but they weren't early in the morning. I got some for like 1 o'clock. So I have a lot of driving to do today. I need to get to Indianapolis tomorrow morning-ish for a conference, meeting some friends there. So I decided to spread my driving out a little bit since I have 9 hours of driving to do to get there. Had a cool opportunity with a lady that was car camping as well at the Planet Fitness, and she had a dead battery yesterday, and I had jumped her, and then today same thing. So I ended up giving her my battery pack, and hoping that blesses her and keeps her from getting stranded. And then I was able to go to Costco and buy another one, so now I won't get stranded either. But cool lady, good conversations. She's a Christian, and had some encouraging conversations with her, and hoping that she can be protected and be safe. I'm gonna end the video here and kind of end my DC time, and then the future adventures will be Indianapolis and the Gospel Coalition Conference, which is where I'm headed now.